more important is we are celebrating our 8th anniversary. I do recall when we launched 8 years ago, it was this room. John and I, we came in and launched the organization. And I think last 8 years, we have seen tremendous amount of energy build in. But more important is we have a stellar board, and I'd just like to say thank you to the board. And a lot of them have flown in from across the world for the session. And also I'd like to say thank you to the members, because I think without your support, we wouldn't be there where we are today. So once again, thank you. But more important is when I look at the relationship, it is moving in a very, very positive direction. Geopolitically, when you look at US, India, we have the Quad relationship on the Indo-Pacific, which is the Australia, Japan, India, and the US. And that's getting much more structured. And when you look at those four countries' economy is roughly around $35 trillion. And they're collaborating, cooperating in secure supply chain, in cyber, in artificial intelligence, in quantum side, and going beyond that. And then when you look at on the Middle East side, we have the I2U2, which is Israel, UAE, India, United States. And that alliance kind of have slowed down, especially after the war in the Middle East. But I strongly believe that geopolitically, it is in India's US interest to collaborate more and more. And then after the G20, India announced the IMAC, along with the US, which is India, Middle East, European corridor. And this is the old Silk Route, where basically goods from India used to go down all the way to the Europe itself. And the objective was to build now a digital corridor, build an education corridor, build a skill corridor on that route itself. So geopolitically, what we are seeing is this tremendous collaboration, cooperation taking place between India and the United States. Now, when you go to the second side, which is basically on the trade side, I do recall in 2014, then we hosted Vice President Biden, and he said the challenge is how do we take this trade to $500 billion? And I think the challenge still stays. Yes, we have crossed $200 billion, but more important is how do we take it to $500 billion? And I think that's where we can see as the India's economy goes from $4 to $5 trillion. One of the biggest job creators is going to be exports, because we have a challenge, and the challenge is how do we create 1.2 million jobs a month? And unless we are able to meet that objective, we will start seeing some kind of social unrest among the youth itself. And we saw during the Aghi issue how some of the young people reacted. So I think it's important to keep on driving that trade objective of $500 billion moving forward. Then I think the third partnership we are seeing, which has moved very well, is on technology side. India and the US are collaborating in every aspect of technology, not only just here about space, mission to moon, on the AI side. And then it's important to understand what we are seeing is the large algorithms are going to be built in the US, but the data is going to come from the India side. When you have 1.4 billion people, the data is tremendous. When you look at the digital side, the payment system, how people are switching into that environment, you're seeing more and more data coming in. So I think the collaboration in that space is happening. We're seeing more and more US companies setting up global capability centers here, almost now 1,600, exporting roughly $125 billion worth of exports, and substantial amount of IP is being generated on those capability centers. Then moving on to the people to people, what we have is in the US now we have around 5 million Indian Americans, roughly generating around, roughly 1.5% of the total population of the US, but they're generating 6% of the GDP. So basically what we are seeing is the capacity and capability on the economic front. Indians are moving ahead of the curve and driving the economic agenda. So in every aspect, from people to people, economic, technologically, and also in the geopolitically, these two countries are aligned. Yes, we have our road bumps, we have our challenges, but we keep on working with that. And what we see with this government, last 10 years, they have stepped up. They have basically worked with us to make sure that there is much more ease of doing business, ensured that the US companies are able to come in and create jobs, manufacture, and be able to generate more and more export capability. And we have our members who are basically building factories across India for the global market itself. So I think these are exciting times. In fact, we just finished a session with CNBC, and they're talking about decade of India. And our reaction, this is not just a decade of India, this is a century which belongs to India. And this is a tremendous opportunity, especially when you look at the energy of the youth, the startups we're building up in these economies. So we're privileged to be part of this journey. We're privileged to partner with you and look forward to successful execution of the partnership between the two countries. But more important, enjoy the session. We have people who are coming from states. We have ministers coming in. We have senior bureaucrats coming in. And make sure that you interact with them and be able to contribute to this partnership. Once again, thank you and welcome. Have a good day.